What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we are on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am Matt Primo, joined by Josh Primo.
What's up, bitches?
This week we are here to review controversial movie, Sound of Freedom. This is gonna be a unique recording because we haven't really reviewed a movie like this before. We've tackled some I guess difficult issues in the past. We've talked about Nazis and the Jews from the Boy in the Striped Pajamas. We did Alice Darling, which was about physical abuse, domestic abuse, and then now we have Sound of Freedom, which kind of deals with child sex trafficking. This was one of the more controversial movies of recent years, especially last year. So if you're not, we're not going to touch too much on the controversy surrounding this movie. We're gonna briefly talk about it right before we do our review, and then that's gonna be fucking it. So if it's not for you, go ahead and back out now. There's your warning. But before we jump into the actual review, there are links down below. Sends you links to the YouTube, Patreon, merch, Facebook, TikTok, all that. You can go there, like, subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff, and it would greatly benefit us if you did that. It would get our name out there and help us improve and expand the podcast. So regardless, thank you for clicking on this video and watching / listening to us talk about movies every single day, or every single week, I should say. Sound of Freedom. The incredible true story of a former government agent turned vigilante who embarks... Turned vigilante. I don't know if I'd call him a vigilante. That's a bit of a stretch. Okay. Who embarks on a dangerous mission to rescue hundreds of children from traffickers. The director is Alejandro Monteverde, who directed Bella and Little Boy. It had a budget of $14.6 million, and it grossed $250.6 million. Not bad. It stars Jim Caviezel? I don't fucking know. Okay. The dude that was Jesus in Passion of the Christ. Okay. Mira Sorvino and Bill Camp. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 11 minutes, and it was released July 4th, 2023. I have one fun fact, and then we'll talk about the controversy real quick before we jump into the actual review. Sound of Freedom was actually finished and done recording in 2018, but it took years to release. The filmmakers were turned down by various distributing. I can't fucking talk, dude. I think I had a stroke. Distributing companies, as they didn't want the film associated with their output, such as Netflix. So, controversies. I don't want to get too much into it because this podcast is neutral ground for the most part, okay? But I think it is worth noting here, and I think we would be doing a disservice to the movie and the review of the movie if we didn't actually mention it. I don't understand any of the controversies behind this movie. Josh, are you aware of all the controversies?
Yeah, it was shelved for all those years, but yet Netflix was okay with that documentary on those girls dancing real provocatively at that young age. And they put that out there and said, no, it's a freedom of speech and we're not going to violate that, and so we're leaving it up. But when it's, we'll say, more of a conservative film, we step back and say, wait a minute, we don't want our brand tied to a movie. That's what it's all about.
Essentially, yeah. And there's a few other things that a lot of people are butthurt about the fucking movie. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was hesitant to even review this movie for that specific reason. But Josh just couldn't fucking let this movie go. He kept fucking shoving this shit down my damn neck every damn way. Hey, we want Sound of Freedom? Sound of Freedom? Sound of Freedom? I'm like, God damn, man. Are you like one of my fucking kids? Can't take no for an answer?
Well, let's watch RoboCop instead.
By the way, you gave that 5 stars, so fuck you.
That's not what we're talking about, though.
That's neither here nor there. So, a lot of the controversy centers around politics, the depiction of sex trafficking, and then certain affiliations of the actors. First off, who really cares what political party the actors are or are not a part of, and what they actually believe? And the reason I say that is because I'm willing to bet 80, 90% at least of Hollywood is Democratic or liberal. So it's okay for 90, 95% of the films nowadays to have those liberal politics in it. But the second that a movie has more conservative views, it's all of a sudden a fucking controversy. As long as you don't fucking throw it in my face, I don't really give a shit. I hate politics in like my music specifically. Like, I don't listen to a whole lot of punk for that particular reason. But like, if I go into it knowing it's like a political commentary on the world or something like that, then by all means, I'm obviously interested in it and I want to hear that side of it and whatnot. But I don't understand the whole conservative versus liberal aspect of this. I didn't get any of that in this movie. Did you?
No, but you want to know my conspiracy theory on this?
Yes.
I think those cats that went to Epstein Island are the ones that cause this stir, and they're like, "Hey, don't you just go pointing your damn finger at me?"
I was trying to be somewhat neutral on this fucking subject. And
Well, I'm just saying.
Dude just fucking brought Epstein in the motherfucker.
Bro, you didn't catch that tone from this movie?
No.
They had the kids on an island.
Like, now that you pointed out, sure, but I didn't think about that.
That's all I thought about. I was like, God, this is like almost Epstein, but the guy's not a rich guy. You know what I'm saying? It's all kinds of different characters.
And he didn't get killed in prison.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know shit about the Clintons.
Mom's gonna call me tomorrow. Your brother was assassinated.
He hung himself.
Huh? Josh is too much of a pussy to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, making light of all that shit. If you need help, by all means, go seek it out.
Wow, this got uncomfortable.
It did. It did. So, anyways, with all that being said, I don't think there are any conservative political views in this movie, personally speaking. I was kind of dumbfounded by it and by the fact that it was actually an issue. The whole depiction of sex trafficking was sensationalized or whatever the fuck. This is part of the controversy, that it kind of gives the wrong impression of how sex trafficking actually occurs, and that the movie makes you think that kids are just snatched off the street.
I believe they are.
That literally never happens in the movie. Like, they're never snatched off the street in the movie, ever.
And I believe, like, kids are snatched off the street all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Have y'all not been in Walmart and said, "Have you seen me?" on their poster board? I mean, that's a bitch ain't never been empty. I'm just saying.
So, yeah, the whole movie is based around these kids were left with, like, some modeling agency, and then they're just gone. So, I think all of these controversies are just unfounded. And if you believe any of the propaganda, then that's your prerogative. But you're just being difficult and, I don't know, triggered for no reason, I think. So, that's all I'm going to say about the controversies. I don't think it really has that much impact on the movie whatsoever. I don't think you can go into, like, if you're a liberal or whatever the fuck you want to identify as, you go into this movie, I don't think you're going to be pissed off by anything that's just done within this movie. But anyways, with that being said, let's talk about the fucking movie itself, sir. How do you feel about The Sound of Freedom?
I have never liked the movie and been so uncomfortable in it at the same moment.
Uncomfortable is the best word to use for this movie.
I don't know, man. It's such a freaking serious topic. I don't know how to feel about it. While I think it's a great film, I don't know. I'm just was.
It's a weird movie because, like you said, I don't think I've ever been more uncomfortable while watching a movie. And when I watch movies, I go to movies for two different reasons. One, for entertainment factor. Okay, there are some movies that just they're shitty ass movies, but they're fucking entertaining. Okay, all the way through. Okay, but I also go to movies to quote unquote like make me feel something at least. I mean, I love fucking movies for that specific reason. This one makes me feel an emotion that I don't think I've ever had watching a movie, and that is just uncomfortable. I can't sit here and say that I had fun with this movie because I didn't. I can't sit here and say that I was entertained because I wasn't. And it's weird to say that I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I do enjoy the movie. I do enjoy the movie. But to say that I'm ever going to watch it again or anything like that, I'm not. This was a one-time watch for me, and it's just something that I just didn't personally enjoy watching it. If that makes any sense. Like, I can like it but not enjoy watching it. Is that something feasible?
I would have to say, man, this is probably the hardest movie to review just because of the sensitive nature in it. I will give props to the actors. I thought it was done very well. I don't feel like anything was sensationalized. I don't think they made it look like this was a glamorous thing. I do feel like they depicted, the what do you call that when you take a kid and comb them to be what you want them to be? They had a certain
Like mental abuse?
yeah,
brainwash.
like you
Brainwash.
yeah. I see that, and then I really liked how they take the two main characters, two little kids, and develop the feelings they had, like how scared they were and how jacked up emotionally they are now, but yet they were still looking out for each other, even in the time, and it was done very well. I do find one fault in this movie is it is based off a true story. I don't think we got enough background on the main cop and his wife to know what led him into this vigilante, as they call it.
No, I absolutely agree. I think they don't really dive into the characters all that much, and I don't know. Maybe they thought that this wasn't really a movie that needed to expand on that. Maybe it was just, hey, we're not here to talk about characters. We're here to talk about the overall aspect of the movie, which is the sex trafficking. So I don't really fault the movie for expanding on him. Would I have liked it? Yes, because I think one thing that's wrong with the movie is they just shoehorned the wife in there, and she, what the fuck? Like, I don't even remember her name. It's one of the worst characters that we've seen in a movie, I think. She has like 3-4 scenes maybe, and it's legitimately like 5 seconds. And every time she's talking, it's basically her just saying, "No, you go do what you need to do," and that's like all of her lines. So I will agree with you. I think that they're poorly written, especially her. And I feel like you might need her to be more important to the story, considering this dude went on an escapade in fucking Honduras for however long he went there for. Like, there wasn't like some like conversation there. Like, it was just, no, go do it.
But it throwed me off because at the end of this movie they have credits, and it shows that child sex trafficking is more prevalent in the U.S. than anywhere else. So, I mean, I know it's based off a true story, but wouldn't you think he would take his calls to America first?
That was another part of the controversy. It was that America is the leading country for sex trafficking, but they went to Honduras. So there was some racism stuff there and whatnot.
I tell you, I want you to. The most uncomfortable character is Bill Camp, the vampo, the guy that he meets.
Yes.
That smoked like 9,000 cigars.
I'm glad you brought him up because I definitely want to talk about him. You're talking about the one scene, the scene
Yes.
where he's talking about why he started, buying the slaves so he could release them and whatnot.
100%. Very powerful.
I have never felt more uncomfortable in a scene ever. Maybe close to the last one where the main villain is starting to take his pants off in front of the girl and shit like that. Like that was pretty fucking uncomfortable. But I don't know, man. Like this doesn't show anything. It's legitimately just him talking about something and how he came into the, I guess, profession, I guess you could call it. And he talks about he thought he was having sex with a 25-year-old and it ended up being a 14-year-old and it was a sex slave. And that to me, I was so fucking uncomfortable with that. I'm like, damn, like this is, like you said, man, this is a weird movie to review because like that is a really, really great scene. And I think he had some fantastic acting in that particular scene. But it's like the subject matter of it was just like, oh my God, I don't want to fucking like this whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about his character is it's gut wrenching because I think he was able to portray to us that he was 100% against it, and if he had known that she was not 25, he never would have done it. I think. So it's gut wrenching in that aspect, but at the same time, he still did it. So it's like, how can we like him as a character? But with that being said, he is the best character in the entire movie.
But at a certain time, I feel like he doesn't like himself because of that.
He should.
He talked about suicide in there though.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think he felt like the rest of us felt when we heard that, and I was like, bruh, pedo.
Yeah, like, I don't know. The character is obviously flawed because of that, and I think that's what makes him a great character in the movie. But in terms of, it's weird feelings, man. It's fucking weird feelings because I don't want to like him as a character because I think that shit's fucking wrong, obviously. But as a character in a movie, he just did such a great job of acting throughout every single scene that I think he was a scene stealer more so than any of the other actors. And it's just, I don't know, one of the weirdest movies that we've ever reviewed. This is right up there with Boy in the Striped Pajamas, where it's like, I don't really know how to say any of this, man. It's like they're trying to make us feel how they're trying to make us feel for the Nazis and shit like that. And I don't fucking like that.
So whenever they're in the village and he's trying to sneak that little girl out, what movie did you think of? Dude, I was waiting for Rambo to jump out that fucking mud and just like slice somebody's throat.
I was thinking about Collateral, to be honest with you.
No, I was right.
You're wrong. Not Collateral. Collateral Damage. That's what it's called. Collateral Damage. The one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. No, I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't even see the similarities, but whatever. I thought about Sonic the Hedgehog.
One other scene that really, and I've already mentioned it, a scene that really takes your breath away was when Tim walks into her bedroom and she screams, and then the old cartel outside comes in and he's about to rape her, and I'm just over here yelling, kill that motherfucker. Like, just straight up kill that motherfucker. I thought they did a nice job of kind of filming that in a way that didn't cross the line. And I thought the whole closing the eyes, opening the eyes thing with the camera and whatnot was a nice, intriguing touch to the film. But what do you think about that scene?
I mean, I wish we could have seen the guy's guts get ripped out of his body by that dude's bare hands, because that's what he deserved. But I will have to give the directing and the cinematography on that scene was fucking epic. I loved how it did that. You were looking through her eyes and they were closing. Oh, fantastic. Fantastically done.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is, and this kind of goes back to like the whole like aspect of the movie, which is the undercover aspect of it. It's so deep and kind of involved, and dude, I don't know how much of this is true. I don't know how much of it's not true, It's almost unbelievable, the entire movie. Like, it's believable but unbelievable. You know, first he's able to convince a pedophile that he arrested, and that he is actually like a double agent pedophile, and the fucking pedophile fell for it. What a fucking dumbass. Like, what a fucking idiot. And then he's able to build this resort for pedophiles and kids, and then he goes into rebel territory as a doctor. It just, I don't know. It seems very...
embellished?
Yeah, like, way to fuck out there. But... I mean,
I wouldn't have believed it was based on a true story if it wouldn't have said it, to be honest.
I'm curious to know how much of it is true.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds that you're able to convince someone that you just arrested, hey, I'm a pedophile just like you. Let's set some shit up, you know? You get the kid. Okay, I can believe that aspect where he finds a kid and he rescues him. But what are the odds that you're able to go find his sister? Not only find her, but then you locate her into a rebel camp. You're able to go and infiltrate said rebel camp, and then you leave without really any issues?
Yeah, I mean, you know, seems like it would be pretty tough to spot one little girl in all of Honduras.
Yeah. And then how was there, like, they're escaping a rebel camp, and by the way, when they're walking through the village, it's like there is nothing but rebels fucking everywhere. There are so many fucking guns in this village, but only 2 people fucking follow this dude on the river.
And then they can't aim. Apparently they get who shoots the worst? Follow them.
Right?
Those people shot like mom drives.
I have no comment on the matter. No comment on the matter, sir. So yeah, man. I overall, it's just, I was super uncomfortable watching this movie, and I'm conflicted on whether or not I would actually recommend this to people, because I don't think it's not an easy watch by any means, and I won't sit here and say that I enjoyed it. But it was engaging all the way through. Like, it held my attention. But I wouldn't sit here and say, wow, I'm loving every fucking second of this. Because I wasn't. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars.
I gave it 4. I thought it was done well. I give them props for having the balls to put out a film with this much, you know, taboo subject, I guess, that happens all the time that we don't think about. So... I like that, and I always like whenever somebody puts out a movie and it's like it makes one side mad over the other. Because I mean, that's really what filmmaking is about. You know, it's telling your version of a story, and you know that's why we're in America. We have free speech.
Yeah, but I don't really feel like there should be any issue with it. Like, it's not really one side versus the other. It's just, this shit's fucked up, and here you go.
I agree, but, you know, very few people have the balls to tackle issues of, you know, like sexual assault and trafficking. And
yes.
You know, like the movie we watched with the what's-her-face that got...
Alice Darling?
Yeah. See, that was like another one that's like, oh, I can't believe somebody finally had the balls to come out and produce something to this effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if after watching this review or listening to this review, you think, maybe it's something I'm going to go check out, then by all means go check it out. I'm not going to recommend it or not going to recommend it. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but it's just, it's too much of an uneasy watch for me to sit here and say, yeah, when you're done watching this, go watch the movie. Or done listening to this, go watch the movie. It's on Amazon Prime if you decide that it is something that you want to go check out. If you do check it out, prepare to be uncomfortable, but also at the same time, it's going to be, I mean, it's a good film through and through. Regardless of the subject matter, it's a good film. With that, one thing I did not mention is at the very beginning, when he leaves America and goes to Honduras, and that's when he sets up the resort and shit like that, the movie takes off, and it's like a completely different movie to me, especially the writing. The dialogue at the very beginning is it feels like an infomercial, like the little infomercials that used to come on at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and they would talk about like feeding the kids in Africa and shit like that. That's how it felt like the first, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes of the movie. Did you feel that way?
100%. I did feel like it was more of a documentary in the very beginning, moved to being more of a movie, and then I feel like maybe it dabbled in maybe some suspense.
Yeah. That would probably be the main thing that I would say is wrong with the movie is its tonal shifts between the two halves. But regardless, Amazon Prime, go check it out if it seems like you're interested in, and we won't fault you for it, but just be prepared to be uncomfortable. But with that being said, that is going to be it from us. We appreciate y'all supporting us. Like, comment, subscribe, leave us a comment below. The whole 9 yards really helps us out. And thank you for joining us. And we will catch y'all next week on another episode. Later.